Yeah, you
Welcome
should
back to
not
this.
have started the stream with.
No, Gupta just sent the GIF, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. I think stream. Okay, this is our 100th video as well. So yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
so welcome back to a landmark 100. We had the 100 race this week of IRL F1, and now we have the 100 video of the IRL channel. So yeah, here we go. In the words of Fabrizio Romano, and I am just gonna tag everyone on the Discord, so everyone has the link to the stream. Here we go, and that is done. Yeah, Malav, technical glitches aside, I think it's gonna be an eventful race.
Oh yeah, especially with rain in the air, uh,
I
it
mean,
should be an
we
interesting race.
finally the commentators know what the weather is going to be like. I feel like in future
Yes.
games, Malav, whatever future, like if anyone is commentating, it would be really helpful if the game told them the weather predictions. But I do understand why they don't say it exactly because what if one of the race engineers is watching the stream and then he can inform the driver based on set choice. So I
Yeah, but
mean,
it's like you know how we get race strategy, that graphic on the formation lab.
yes. Oh yeah, in
They
that,
can probably, yeah, they can probably add a weather graphic as well because the drivers know it already. I mean, at the start of the race on the strategy screen, they do see the weather option.
yeah,
So maybe it will help if the commentators got that as well. But yeah, it's the finer details which Codemasters and now EA
yeah.
will hopefully look into. Although I've not
Also,
got much.
there's one thing with the UI, especially the timing screen. Like in 2010 F1 when LG were the sponsors of the timing screen, it used to look so neat because the guy in P1 used to
Hmm.
have a red on his box and stuff like that. It would be really neat if they added small touches like that.
Yeah, even that plus quick is already test qualified. Uh, even that plus I think the interval screen itself. So like now we are getting into a discussion about what Codemaster should do
No,
for
I mean,
commentators, but
this is the second
uh,
formation lab that we have anyway. So while this gets over, we might as well talk about
right.
it.
Yeah, so those little things like if can the drivers somehow choose their three-letter initials because it will just shorten and make it smaller the whole menu on the
Yes,
left where you
because
can
the
choose.
game
Is it
when you make a profile custom driver, I think it
It
does give you
anyway
a three
asks.
letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it anyway asks. Plus, uh, it's a three decimal place after the decimal where you get intervals.
So let's see
There could be an
something
option to
about
make it shorter
that would
or
be
something like
that
that.
would really make it more feel more professional as such.
Yeah, professional plus you get to see more of the track. Here, the menu on the left, the whole leaderboard or the position counter, it takes up a lot of space. And sometimes it is distracting. I know you do it even sometimes. Even I turn it off at the start of the race because it's just too much of the screen. It's very bold. It blocks off areas of the track you want to see. So
So
maybe in the
yeah,
future they will
maybe
look
in the
at
future
things
they'll
like
look at
this.
it. So let's see everyone's tire choice right now. Not from not Sumi till oh my
Oh,
God,
who was that?
that was
Who was that?
that was
And there's a
Gupta.
Red Bull livery as well. I
That was
think.
Gupta, who just
Ooh.
I don't know what he did, but luckily for him, this game does not have damage on the formation lap, so that saves him. Let's look at it this way though. Right now, Natsumi is leading the formation lap, not Shadow Sword, unlike last time. Uh, but yeah, as things stand, two people are only on mediums. That's Vicky and Hashrav, and the rest of them have chose opted for the softs. So here's the thing: with rain is gonna happen in the last phase of this race. It's gonna go from from light clouds to overcast to rain to make it more realistic. Because I didn't want it to be light clouds, and then suddenly it starts bursting down. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if the soft runners actually will have to pit twice because the medium runners may be able to extend it all the way to the end.
Yeah, if there, especially if there's no safety car, they could stretch it all the way to the rain period. But the soft runners is what I mean. Despite knowing the weather, they're still opted for the soft. So
I
maybe they're
that
confident that the
that
medium runners might have to pit
either
as well.
that or the game would not have let them change the tires. It is an either or situation. We don't know. We'll probably get to know once the race gets done with. But yeah, as things stand right now, um, I think are on board, and I hope this time, if it glitches this time, then I'm just calling off the race for this week. Oh, it won't. Thank God. Codemasters, you're the best. Uh, Meanwhile, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and Quickkill has already done a drive-through for a jump start. Oh, look at the start that Nova West has gotten on North Sumi. Meanwhile, Gupta tries to go down the inside. He can't make it stick though, so Sumi has already lost one position. Gupta is going all the way, and Gupta has spun. Gupta has spun, and he has to cut the corner. As a result of that, Nupshan ends up taking a sizable chunk of Gupta right there. Meanwhile, Hushraf has jumped up 6 positions on the medium tires. This could be very beneficial for him.
Gupta, Sumer might be going for a move. No, he's not.
Racing Gupta has gone for a move on Nupshan in the meantime. I don't think Gupta suffered any damage from whatever happened to him right there. So now, as he's going on and on, let's see, Hushraf is already P12. He's behind Hershey. So that is a massive mega start by Hushraf right there.
And mega start by Caesar as well, picking up 5 positions up into P6. Shadow Sword picking up 6 positions up into P9. Make that 7 as he's battling up, but stays behind for now.
And Nova half a second already. Shadow 110, Sid Venkatesh 13th, Redstone 14th. And Shadow has made the move on Abhi.
Because exit will be compromised. He mounted a lot of curve.
Basil meanwhile is trying to make a move on Abhi as well. He's gone down the inside. Oh, they make contact. What this has allowed is Hershey to dive on him. Meanwhile, Hushraf as well. Oh, Hushraf goes down the inside. This is a very bold move by Hushraf, and he's made it stick. Look at that, a double overtake on the medium tires as well. Basil has to back out of this if he wants his front wing intact, and which he does. So now,
he's round. He's round, and he has
safety car.
Hershey as well.
Safety car. Safety car. Safety car.
Someone in the pits.
Quick Killer is in the pits. He has to serve his drive-through. Keep this in mind. Caesar and Nupshan, something happened. Something happened. I saw carbon fiber flying in the beginning, and Quick Killer has retired from session because that has severely compromised his race. But Hushraf is now a very interesting factor in this race because he's P10 on the alternate strategy. He's probably going to try to pick off Abhi as fast as possible.
There he goes. Abhi leaves the door open. Why did he leave the door open, Abhi?
Abhi is struggling with his setup, that's why. We saw it in the sprint race. He was all over the place with that car. So definitely something has gone wrong for him in that regard. Hushraf meanwhile, P9. Oxidized gets past Nupshan as well. So is that problem on... Yeah, Nupshan has lost his end plate. Nupshan has lost his end plate, but he has to stay out. He has to do one more lap and then he can pit without any repercussions. But it is going to rain towards the end, so I don't think it really matters in that regard, because if a race goes to wet, you don't necessarily need to serve the pit rule. So if Nupshan knows about it, but I didn't reveal it on stream showing the weather conditions. And meanwhile, Hushraf has gotten up to P8. So what a mega drive this has been from Hushraf. In 2 laps, this man has made up 11th position. I'm watching it from Hushraf POV. No, Sumer is still behind. Shadow, meanwhile, has gotten past Nupshan. It depends on this braking. Let's see. Oh, both of them have gone wide, and Hushraf, opportunistic as ever, dives down. Oh, Shadow gets a very compromised exit. He gets Shadow Sword, and now Nupshan is up next for him. Look at how much that front wing is damaging Nupshan's hope.
Hushraf is absolutely on fire. I know Nupshan is nursing his car, but he has no chance. Hushraf up into P6 from P19. What is this guy?
Hushraf definitely, I don't know what he learned in class today, but it probably might have been a class on a master class of overtaking with the way he's doing it. This guy, he looks like Raikkonen in 2005 Japan when he came all the way from the back of the grid to win the race. So,
yeah, and Caesar is putting pressure on Racing Gupta now, who has lost touch from FVP. So,
there's something in the middle sector.
Oxidized.
Oh, that was oxidized. But Caesar meanwhile is behind Racing Gupta as well. Remember, DRS will be active on this lap. So Hushraf's next goal is to try to get as close to Racing Gupta and Caesar. Because right now Hushraf is in a position of advantage because he can stretch his mediums out longer than anyone else. He's the only one with mediums in the top 6. Oh, Gupta has...
Oh, I think he has damage. He definitely has damage, and Gustav just
breezes
sails
by.
past.
So now Shadow has a 3-second time penalty as well. Oh,
That
Hushrav
was
would
might
have wanted
overtaking
that.
Gupta.
Hushrav might have wanted Gupta to lose his car after the activation, slightly before the activation zone, because right now he won't have DRS. No one has DRS on anyone. Sumer, meanwhile, has fallen back by 1.1 seconds, so it is tough for him to make up. He has to make up a lot of ground right now. So
Abhi
up,
might want to make a move on Gupta, but
he stays behind. Gupta has lost his but there's something that happened in the back right there, and that is Redstone Derp who has spun. Also, fun fact, notice this. Gupta has lost his right end plate and Navshan and Gupta have pit together. Navshan and Gupta have pit together. It's a double teammate. It's a teammate stack and a double
oh
stack
yeah,
in
they are
F2.
teammates. That is going to be a long stop for Racing Gupta.
I was just going to point this fun fact out that Navshan lost his left end plate and Gupta lost his right end plate. So, uh, yeah, there's nothing really happening in Sector 1 right now. Hushrav, Shadow.
Yeah,
Shadow is
Nova has
within a
switched out,
second.
so the gap that he has is more than a second to Sumer. Crucially, when the DRS got activated, so it will be a
Look at Gupta still
Herculean
waiting for
stop.
his pit stop. Navshan has just finished his pit
This
stop.
is painful. This is so painful. For Gupta is
I
losing
I
time
want to
behind
be
him.
I want to be in that party chat right now.
I desperately need a safety car now. Both these drivers, in fact, Nupshan, Gupta, Basil, Oxidize, Hershey, Abdul, I think everyone will be praying for a safety car, and you never know, you might get one.
The pace, the difference
Finally,
between
Racing Gupta exits, and look at the. He
he's
has lost all positions in the pits. So he lost a position to
oh
Basil,
Vicky has
Hershey,
gone
Abdul, and
wide. Vicky has
Oxidize.
gone wide, but he's kept his front wing intact. So I think he spun, and there's Redstone who has spun in the background as well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hushrav has made up about 4 tenths on Caesar in this lap alone. So a lot of things going down in this race really. Redstone gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting.
Oxidize and Abdul Samad. But Racing Gupta might want to take advantage of that, and he does. Puts himself up into P17.
Gupta went on the softs again because he realizes that if it's going to rain towards the end, this is probably his best bet of making up positions right now. Oh, Oxidize nearly lost his car there, and this allows Gupta for a very clean run. He'll stay behind, of course, he has to. The activation point is coming up, and Gupta realizes this as well. So he won't try the overtake just yet. And look at Abdul Samad, he's dived him down the inside.
Yeah, that's very opportunistic, but a clean move from Abdul. Let's see
It's
if he can
good
get
to
the
see.
traction right.
It's good to see clean moves like this happen. Right now, I'm going on board with Gupta. Let's see. Abdul will have DRS as well. So does Gupta. Oxidize, meanwhile, is being caught up, so it might be a double overtake.
Oh, he's taken out. Oh, all three of them have collided. Abdul Samad will make it through.
So will Gupta, but Oxidize has lost his front wing again.
Yeah, he has. I think that's definite damage for Oxidize, and he's back in the pits. 2 pit stops in 2 laps for Oxidize. That is really unfortunate.
Look at the gap
Gupta
between
now
Hushrav and Caesar right now. It's falling. It was 2.3 last lap. It's 1.6 this time around.
And Gupta overtakes Abdul.
Can Hushrav win this race?
Oxidize is retired from the session that's in the pits. I think he has had.
Unfortunate for him because
Yeah, it depends. I think it will depend on the rain.
Nova has
pits.
Sumer pits. Very important that none of these people get 5-second penalty.
I think
Caesar
he
is
pits
pitting as well.
Caesar, why is he pitting? Oh, Caesar.
Lack of communication right there. So definitely one thing is for sure, Hushrav has gotten past Caesar because of as a result of this.
For sure. I want to see how long does Caesar have to wait for this. Why is he pitting? He would have seen the notification, but that comes in sometimes late.
Oh, it's not that much. It's not that long.
It is that long. Look at, they're not even ready for him yet.
No,
now they're ready.
There's lesser crew in F2, so they can't be technically ready for anyone at that point.
I know. So that's even further time kind of a penalty for Caesar. Hushrav now leads the race, and it's still sunny. No signs of any dark clouds on the horizon, so let's see.
I don't know how this race is divided in 3 phases, but it did say light clouds to overcast to rain when I set it. So if it doesn't happen, then it's the game's fault. I'd just like to point this out before anyone says that I didn't set custom weather
No, we
properly.
will report you, Jin, and you will have to give yourself some kind of penalty when you're not racing.
I'll take a commentary ban for next week. Uh,
No, please don't do that. Manan has gotten past Teals. They're still going side by side through the fast left-hander. Let's hope they don't touch. They've kept it clean
Teeves
for the
is a
most
clean
part.
racer. Teeves has lost his end plate though, so as I was saying, he was a clean racer and now he's lost his end plate. So HVP is now behind Teeves. It's the first of the medium runners after not Nova and not Sumi. So I think this is a move that's waiting to happen. I think he'll stick behind, takes DRS. Caesar gets a 3 second time penalty. Unfortunate for him. So now his task of overtaking Hushraf has become harder. Hushraf probably will stay out like 2-3 laps more because 10 laps on the softs is asking too much of it. Because people with fresh softs pit on lap 6 alone. Shadow is in the pits. Abhi will follow him into the pits for sure. Vicky meanwhile, who is out on mediums without any damage, so he'll take over P2 for now.
Abhi pits. Let's see what Vicky does. Vicky stays out. And HVP might make a move on Manan on the main straight unless Manan pits. HVP doesn't want to wait around and he's going to go.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
Smart
do
move from
anything
HVP.
about. You can't do anything about that. It's China's pit entry is such.
And good that HVP realized that because you have to brake for the corner, you don't have to pick for
Yeah,
pick for
if he stayed
the
on the
brake for
line
the
that he
pits.
was on, he would have definitely collided into Manan right
That
there.
would have been a collision. So that was smart thinking.
Sid Venkatesh, meanwhile, on the back of URL Basil.
Choosing the outside line, Sid. He might not be able to make this work.
There's a
Oh,
bump.
he's round. Basil is round. There was contact, I think, but phantom contact, as you call it. And Basil is round.
Caesar, meanwhile, is behind Shadow Sword now. Both of them are on medium. Caesar has lost so much time. He was ahead of Shadow Sword by a margin, and now he has to make up all this lost time all over again. This does mean that
And Shadow Sword on the fresher tires, so he won't be willing to give up this position that easily.
But with the power of DRS, there's really not much you can do to defend. So if Caesar keeps this gap, he should get past Shadow as well.
This is what I like about China, that on the back straight, you are probably going to lose a position if the car ahead is significantly faster and in DRS. As Racing Gupta and teams are battling. But then again, just after a few corners on the backs on the main straight, you can try to get the position back. Although that straight is not as long as the back straight.
Oh,
But it's an opportunity he sees that's the industry from the dirty air. Nupson also might make a move on a bit.
Let's see, Caesar, I don't think he'll be close enough, and he's not. Nupshan, is he close enough? Not Sumi meanwhile setting fast laps, so they will come up to Vicky next. Now I think lap 10 is when medium runners will pit, so it should be interesting to see how far behind Not Sumi does this Hushraf actually come. Abhi and Nupshan still going at each other. Caesar meanwhile is so close, he's going down the inside. Has Shadow left him enough space? Yes, he definitely has. Caesar backs out of it as well, but he gets the much better drive. Now, is he ahead by a car length? Yes, he is. So the move has been done. Good move there by Caesar.
Trying something similar on Abhi, but Abhi closing the door on him. And Nupshan has to wait for a few more sectors at least before he can challenge Abhi for the P8. Redstone has overtaken Thieves meanwhile for P16. And Noah West is now closing up on Vicky.
He will close up to him by... I don't think he'll get DRS per se on this lap, but he will close on him massively. Oh, he has. He cut it by half a second in one corner.
I'm not sure if we have DRS because the activation zone was before that.
He does have DRS.
And if you believe you there he goes. Vicky defends the middle of the track. Noah has to go right down the inside and fix his braking spot.
Well executed right there.
Here's a summary from Treatment Hotels. Trekking places in India.
Apparently my phone thought was talking to it, but Abhi and Nupshan are still battling. I'm not sure how Abhi got past Nupshan. Where did Nupshan overtake him? But
Why is the weather not changing though? Codemasters, can I
yeah,
get a confirmation of things, please?
I think you should sue them.
And so, as it stands right now, I mean, it's a 22.3 second gap.
He's racing
Vicky,
Gupta on 1 and for P13, and Nupshan also on Abhi for P8.
and I think Nupshan has done it. Yes, he's gotten the move done.
Shadow Sword and Caesar are going at it,
And Shadow
and
this time is.
just about to stay behind.
He gets a better run though than Caesar. Can he try this move on this zone? I don't think he will. Caesar holds the inside. Oh, this is some good racing here between these two.
It is good racing, and both of them are losing time hand over fist. Nupshan is behind and HUT is in front. Now let's see how much time does Sumer take to overtake Vicky, because he doesn't want to let Noah just go and run away with this. Oh, Caesar has kicked up so much grass. Hey, look at him! His
Oh!
car is just not stable at all, and that
Meanwhile,
has given Shadow
speaking of
not
not.
a 3 second time.
Oh, Hushav gets a 3 second time penalty.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Sumer gets past. Shadow Sword might be overtaking Caesar on this backstretch.
Let's see though. I'm on board with Shadow. It's less than 3.5 tenths.
Caesar might just be able to hold on to P6, but Shadow Sword is closing at a rate of naught and is going to go down the inside.
Oh, that is clean racing there. Vicky has pit in the meantime. I think Hushav stays out for one more lap.
I think he should have come in this lap for sure. I think he's losing a lot of time now. His tires and those soft tires should be good for 6 laps. But alright, maybe I think he'll come in at the end of this lap. Let's see.
Shadow is still
Redstone on
behind.
Manan.
Manan trying to come back, and he does. He makes the move work for him. So at this rate, Hushav will come out in P3. He's made up enough of a gain. Gupta has to pit for mediums now, so he's lost out quite a lot of time. And Hushav definitely gonna come in this lap. Natsumi meanwhile still chasing Nova. It'll be interesting to see how far behind Hushav comes out, because with enough laps left he could theoretically chase down the winning pack and win, but his 3 second penalty is the biggest drawback he has.
That's not going to help at all. The 3 second time penalty might have just taken away any chances of a win. That's a yellow flag, and it's a virtual safety car. This helps Hushav, but does it?
No,
I
he
don't
was
think it
already.
does. It
No,
does.
he was in the
Oh.
pits. He was in the pits when it happened,
Then
so
it
it will count
counts.
as a mandatory. If you have entered the pit lane when the virtual safety car shows up, it counts as a mandatory pit stop.
I really hope so, because this has come at a very opportune time for Hushav.
It's like the first time we went to Imola and Hamilton got that VSC.
Right, let's see what happens. Sumer and Noah are on the massive. They are both going to overtake him. But look
Hushav
how
will be
close
so
Hushav
close.
is. Yeah, he is quite close to both of them. Might take a lap or two, but he will catch up for sure. And it's such a shame he has a 3 second.
DRS has been enabled, of course. Now, Natsumi was one. Oh, surprisingly, no one got a drive through this time around. So,
Thankfully.
1.2 is the gap between Nova and Natsumi. Meanwhile, we need to see what kind of laps Hushav can do.
Yeah, 4.5 is the gap to Sumer.
Counted the 7.4 because he has a 3 second penalty. So, essentially,
Yeah, it
what
is 7.4, but it's coming down some extent. I think once
the worst thing that can
tires
happen
are
for Hushav right now is the fact if Nova and Sumer get into a DRS train. Because if they do, then catching them on the straights becomes harder for Hushav, of course.
Manan is in the pits.
And for some reason, the weather still stays the same.
I think it's a lost cause trying
It's a
to
lost cause.
summon the rain. It's really weird though. There's I think Redstone Dub has lost his car.
Oh, he's gotten back starting again. I thought it was a safety car for sure, but yeah, one can only keep hoping. And by
Caesar and Shadow Sword once again battling it out. Shadow Sword might just run out of straight to put a challenge on Caesar, but is he going to go for
no,
it?
he
No,
won't
he
be able
does
to. He's
not.
too far back, and
Too
now
far back, but
again.
Caesar has gone a little bit deep. Let's see on the base hit, but Caesar gets good launches off the final corner, so it'll be interesting to see if Shadow Sword can put him under pressure, and I don't think he will. Meanwhile, Basil and Abi are battling.
And Basil has gotten past on the straight itself. Meanwhile, keep checking
Yes.
the gap between Hushav and Sumer, because
Yeah, it
that is
has
the
come
most
down by 6
interesting.
tenths since we last spoke, so 3.9 is the gap now. But I think Hushrav's. I think P3 is the best he can get out of this race because of that time penalty, and even if not for that, he will probably run out of laps before he can catch the top two.
But with Hushrav on soft tires, it at least ensures one thing, that Nova West won't end up with the fastest lap. Cause
Fastest lap, yeah.
so I mean,
That's a relief.
a loss for some, a win for many. Uh, now Hushav has to drive this carefully. He doesn't want to get a 6-second penalty, of course, because it would hamper his chances. It might put his it actually won't put his P3 in jeopardy. But why would you want to get more penalties when Manan is getting 3-second penalties left, right, and center? In the meantime, there really isn't much. Hushav 3.3. Redstone Dove has retired from session. Where did
Oh,
he
that's
retire?
retired. Is that a safety car? Come on, no, but it's
No,
in
no,
the
he retired
pits.
in the pits. Ah, why are people so nice? Retire on track,
One and
man.
on teams. Manan on teams, and that will be an easy overtake for Manan. Or is it? Teams is going to fight back. Teams goes into half spin there.
And full
Oh, it
spin.
goes to
Make that
full
a full
spin
spin.
there. Oh,
Teams
that's a
has
safety
left.
car. That, come on, Court Masters. You didn't give us the weather. At least give us the rain. He has retired from the session. It's a yellow flag in Sector 3. There are cars coming to that track. Come on.
I
It's
think
not
we
going to
hope
happen,
for
is
too
it?
much. I think we hope for too much.
I think I begged too much. But, yeah, no safety car at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is at the end of the day.
Right. 2.9 is the gap, so Gustav is really
Meanwhile,
flexing his muscles. But
Caesar has pulled away from Shadow.
yeah, in all that, Caesar has pulled away, so Caesar might be fine for P5. I think Shadow Sword anyway has more penalties than Caesar. Yes, he does. 6 seconds for Shadow Sword, 3 for Caesar.
Well, once
So
again, I
even
will
if
say this: Nupshan is in P7, his teammate is in P14, so the bragging rights for his team once again goes to Nupshan, unless Nupshan DNFs, of
and
course.
knowing Nupshan, you know he will brag about it.
Meanwhile, on Hushav's, I'm on board with Hushav. It says he has 2 purple sectors, so he definitely has increased the pace on this lap alone. I don't think he's close enough to catch up to Nova West, but he definitely should be able to make ground on Sumi. And yesterday there were fireworks between Natsumi and Hushav as well, so we shall see what happens in this race as we come
Yeah,
up
3
to
laps to
the
go, and you can see that Gustav is catching somewhere almost every corner. So
Thieves has left the session, unfortunate.
oh,
Not
Sumer picks a
Sumi.
3 second now. This is game on for P2.
And not a fastest lap, surprising. I'm just going to check what the interval actually, not telemetry, sorry. I mean, it doesn't
Hushav
really.
has a fastest lap,
Oh, Hushav does. It doesn't. It
44.52.
doesn't show up on
So
the.
it didn't show up on the screen, but he does have the fastest lap.
But look at this.
And
Nova's fastest lap on mediums is 44.9. Hushav has a 44.5 on softs. That means it's not even half a second between them, with
yeah,
the
and
tire advantage and
I'm
whatnot.
pretty sure Nova will go for the fastest lap attempt on the second last lap or maybe the last lap. So
Have Hushav softs burned past their best phase?
oh, yellow flag. No hope for safety car now, but
Safety
I
car
think
won't happen. Only a virtual safety car can happen at this point, I think. Now what?
Yeah.
Oh, Noah
Oh,
gets a 3 second.
Nova gets a 3 second, but it's too late. Sumer was in that 3 second window, so had he kept it clean and within track limits, he could have got the win there. But I think Noah would have taken necessary risks only after seeing that Sumer has a 3 second and Hushra has a 3 second.
There
I
is
think Noah is
someone
still
on
fine
our
for it.
YouTube channel who says that hello, I am a YouTuber. So hello, welcome
Hello,
Sauparna Das.
Suparna. Good to know that you are a YouTuber and yeah, interesting choice of profile picture there.
Interesting choice. I mean, the greatest of all time, really, in Formula One history.
Statistically, yes.
Statistically, yes.
Do you
The
think
numbers.
Lewis will return? Yes, I think he will return. He's just enjoying his solitude from social media right now. Pretty
Vicky
sure
has
he will
retired from
return.
session.
He has retired, and that is not in the pits. I think that might be a spin at the
Yeah.
exit of a tournament sector 2. Now,
Nothing.
here's the thing, Jin. 1.4 seconds is a gap. I expect Hushram to be in DRS on the back straight.
We need
But
to see how much
really, he
time
will
he
have
really.
just one opportunity because this is the second last lap. So I
Yes.
don't think.
If he doesn't get DRS on this lap, it's a lost cause for him because he won't be able to make up enough time.
Yeah.
He knows this and he has to drive like it. Suraj meanwhile says whenever I come Nova is P1. I mean that's true even when Suraj is not here as well. So
Yeah, I mean, the only question to ask in F2 races is who finished P2 and P3. You know who's going to finish in P1. But Hushrav, as we speak, will not get DRS on the main straight.
it's not close enough. So Sumi has definitely nurtured those tires, has definitely managed those tires really well. 1.1 the gap. Now Nova has slowed down, so I think he's trying to get his tires up to optimum peak for the last lap. I think this is his strat always, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And Hushrav not closing in. Sector 2 yellow flag.
There's a car who's gone wide. I'm not 100% sure who that
That's
is. That's
Gupta or
Gupta.
what?
Yeah, that's Gupta.
It
He's
is
lost his
Gupta.
front
It
wing
is
again.
Gupta. Yeah.
I mean, there are things I like about this game because the race never ends under a safety car, but
Right. So Hushrav, I don't think. I think he had to settle for P3 here.
yeah, I think
Sumer
he's
will
used
just
up too
about
much of
hold
his
on.
tires. I think he's used up too much of his tires, really.
Yeah, that too.
I think if we check his race director, I think his lap time between this lap and his previous one, there should be a difference of 3 to 4 tenths. Meanwhile, Caesar has got another 3 second time penalty, so that's 6 seconds. So him and Shadow are on equal footing right now.
Caesar will still finish P5. Can Basil get past Lukshan, although for a lost cause because Basil has time penalties. Yellow flag once again.
And the weather never
I'm not
really
sure.
changed, even though that it
Oh,
should have happened, but
but I
yeah.
think Codemasters will be getting a long email from Zin tonight. Because the weather
Yeah.
never changed. Didn't even turn overcast, Jin. It's
Yeah.
just been so bright.
I mean, I'll probably start my email with like I'd like to point out that something very wrong is happening here.
I mean, something is very wrong with this league or something like that. Um, Sumer is within DRS of Noah. I'm not sure what Noah is doing. Is he just cruising the victory or does he want us to finally spectate? I think that's his strategy of getting us to finally spectate and see him actually take the ticket flag instead of us just realizing it 5 seconds later. But yeah, he's
So
going to
I am
pull
on
down
board
for
with Nova
me.
West right now. Takes the final corner. Keeps going straight. Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably the plan all along. And he comes up to the final corner, unless he gets a 6 second penalty, which he doesn't. Uh, he wins this race, Sumer in P2, and Hushrav rounds off the podium. So Hushrav did get lucky with the timing of the VSC, but he had so much pace before that as well. Incredible race by
And I'm
him.
sure he would have finished P3 either ways, with or without that VSC. In
Yes,
my opinion, should have pitted a lap earlier than what he did, but I think all in all, what a race of him. 16 positions gained.
I mean,
Basil, last lap overtake
if he pit a
on
lap
Luke
earlier,
Shaw.
it wouldn't have provided that interesting race finish because the only reason why it was interesting was because when he pit, the VSC came out. So
Right.
yeah,
So
definitely.
Basil
I'm just
making an
gonna be
overtake,
back.
but
Meanwhile, the race is done, and I should just be back.
right, Jim, are you back?
Yeah, I am. And a double for Nova, really. He won the feature. He won the sprint, and he wins the feature. So
Yeah, and
I
I've
mean,
invited
might as
him,
well just
Sumer, and Hushraf. All three of them are in the
yeah.
party.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna run through the results. Nova P1 as always. P2 Natsumi. P3 to Hushrav. HP 4th, Caesar 5th, Shadow 6th, Nuption 7th, 8th to Basil, 9th Abhi, 10th Sid Venkatesh, and the final point scoring position, of course, Abdul Samad, Hershey, Manan, Gupta, Vicky, Redstone Drop, Teeves, Oxidize, and Quick Killer. That's your entire race results for this week. Uh, some unfortunate glitches in the lobby, but at least we were able to finish another race, so that's always a neat sight to see. And why is it not letting me? Oh, Real Madrid drew 2-2. We are doing a multi-sport stream right now, so yeah, Elche were 2-0 up in the 76th minute, and then Eden Hazard, Modric and Militao equalized in 86th and the 92nd minute. So, nice, nice work, Real Madrid. Uh, but yeah, I think that's done, and I cannot quit the lobby as
Yeah,
well, so I
me
have to
neither.
wait till the counter starts.
It might never start, Jen, so we might as well
Yeah,
start
we
with
might
the
as well
polling
just
interviews.
start with the guy who won both the races first, and then we'll move on to the rest of the podium sitters.
Yeah, there's a counter.
Okay, it's still 25 seconds though. So, Malv, have you thought of some questions to ask him, or uh,
Noah, were you actually using preset, or did you finally manage to get a setup before the race and ensure that your audio sharing is on so people can hear you on the stream?
Yes, I was using the maximum top speed. In the first
Right,
race, in the
so
second, see, I had to give the setup to Caesar, so I put it on, but I didn't have the time to take it off. So I was using a setup in the second race, unfortunately.
okay, yeah, that was unfortunate because, yeah, other than that, yeah, I just wanted to know how was the crowd's reception to you when you crossed the line. You must be hearing the noise from the stands because you're absolutely in a race of your own, a sector ahead of everyone else sometimes. So, yeah, nothing really to
Yes.
ask. This dominated once again both the races. Yeah, just take us to your start. I think Sumer usually gets good start, but you got him off the line, and that was almost pretty much it. And what happened in the last two laps? You slowed down considerably. Was there a reason to do that, or were you just trying to make it more interesting so people finally watch you on the stream?
Yeah, I just wanted something to happen. Sume asked me to give him DRS, so I did. At least I think I did.
I think you
Just to
did, at
make
least on the
things
last
interesting. I
last lap,
was
the back straight.
really bored. Only the first lap of the
Then why don't you
sprint
make an
race.
extra pit stop? Is my question, Noah. If you are this bold,
No, but that's just taking yourself out.
yeah, I don't think
It's a
anyone would
40-second
mind.
pit stop, but no, that will be boring as well. So what's the point in
I just have one
Jin, any
question to I
questions?
just have one question to ask. Did you and Caesar have communication issues because you both decided to pit on the very same lap, which caused it?
I told him I was going in this lap, and then I don't know, for whatever reason, he followed me. So
We will never get to ask Caesar because he does not
no,
finish on the podiums or finish races.
he
So,
thought he was 8 seconds behind me, so he could do the double stack, but it really doesn't work. It takes a lot of time in these F2 cars to make a pit stop, to change
Well,
the tires.
unfortunate for him, but another dominant performance. And yeah, we'll probably have to think this week, Malav, about what questions to ask him because next week I don't expect it to be any different.
I
Uh,
think I'll ask about Lucknow cuisines or something next time.
yeah.
Because
Maybe that's the secret to his winning the race. Doing a dawat on
yeah,
Sunday and then showing up for the race.
right.
Right. We move on to the guy who finished P2 in the feature race, not Sumi. Um, yeah, I mean, it looked to be a pretty. What happened to you in the sprint race? It looked to be a pretty chaotic race from your POV. I think you spun. Was that your fault or did
Yeah,
something spook you out?
so I spun twice. The first time someone took me out, I think it was either Abhi or Vicky. So I spun there and then I spun again on my own. I tried to gain some positions, but I finished P5, so it's not bad. I'll still take that for the amount of times I spun.
All
And after that, after the sprint race, once the feature race started, of course I didn't want to really battle Nova much, so of course he got a much better start, and I didn't even try chasing him down because I knew I wasn't quick enough. And later on in the race, as the tire wear started kicking in, I started locking up more, which cost me quite a lot of lap time. I think I was losing a second in 5 laps maybe. And towards the end, Hushta was on fresh soft, so I was worried about that. Might get a last lap overtake. And I did get DRS on the last lap, but it didn't really make much of a difference because Hushta wasn't in my DRS. But it was a good race from Hushta and Nova, and yeah, finally, even though I got a bit unlucky, I still managed to put it on the podium.
All right, Malav, would you like to ask Sumer anything? Because it was a pretty interesting race that he had. I mean, he fought back. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I think Sumer covered it all, but yeah, I just wanted to know um, how much under pressure you were in the last couple of laps with Hustav just catching you and Noah both on those fresh softs, and did you
I was
finally
just trying
breathe
to,
a sigh of relief when you crossed the line?
yeah, definitely. I was just trying to keep my laps consistent, not trying to mess up, go wide or anything. And the gap was around the same, just 1.5 seconds. So I think I did well in the final stint.
Yeah, I think at the end of it, while Hustav was catching you, I don't think he managed to get DRS on you until
at
the
any
end.
point.
Yeah, correct. So I think, but yeah, otherwise very strong performance for you, Sumer. I think could have finished P2 in both the races, but still a strong performance, and yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
And now we go on to who produced an overtaking
Inarguably,
masterclass. Who
inarguably the
inarguably
driver of the
produced an
weekend.
overtaking masterclass today. And it was so much fun to go on board with him every time he was fighting from the back of the grid. Hushrav, brilliant race, both the sprint and the feature. You made up massive gains. Walk us through your race, whether it was chaotic from your POV, what was going on, or was it just straightforward for you to get everything done?
Oh god, so this was hilarious. So I don't know if you all saw on the Discord, but like I didn't even know there was a race today. I had fully forgotten. I saw the ready up message on the F2 Discord, and that's when I decided that wait, I can yet join because I had just come out from class. So I ran in, and when I lined up on the sprint race grid, I didn't do quali or anything. The time I came onto the grid was the time I realized what track we were at. So I had no setup, never driven a lap of F2 on this track. Never driven the track in itself, so I was just fully going in blind. I picked in a default setup, like the higher top speed one. Turned out a few things, and then I think the sprint race was terrible. I had a very good first lap. I went around the outside of like 7 people at the first corner, and then I think lap 2 or something, I just spun and I went straight into the wall, and I lost some 15 odd seconds there because I had to literally reverse out of the wall and then get going again. So I think, I don't know, I finished P4 or P5, something like that in the sprint. And then the feature is actually really painful now that I think of it, because I had a warning which I felt I could have got removed because I was pushed off the track, and then just on the second last lap when I was chasing Sumi, I realized that I didn't actually have to chase him, but just when I was chasing him through like the long right-hander, I just drifted out wide and then picked up another warning. So now even if I get that warning removed, there's no point because I have enough warnings. But yeah, case of what could have been, but yeah, the overtakes were super fun, and it was really nice like being on a different strategy to everyone else.
I mean, in the first lap alone, when we saw you in the feature race, I think you made up 9 positions or something because you were up 7 positions off the start alone. So it was very impressive for us to watch. Malav and I were spectating over you quite a fair bit. How
Yeah.
lucky did you get with the VSC timing? Because I'm pretty sure it came in as soon as you entered the pit lane.
I mean, in terms of timing, yes, lucky for sure, in the sense that it gave me a shot at trying to get Sumi. I always Nova was too far up and too quick for me. And one thing with the softs is the only quick, I'm sure you all saw it on the stream as well, I got like half a second, quarter, 7/10 to Sumi in the first 3 laps. And then, in fact, he started pulling away from me, and that's what happened when they were on the softs as well. The softs only last you about 3 or 4 laps in terms of a performance gain, so I had to get the move done in those laps, else I knew I wouldn't be able to pass him no matter what. So I was really pushing on that time, and I think at the end of the day, though, I don't think the VSC changed anything because had I come out behind HVP and Caesar, I think I would have passed them anyways because I pulled out like some 10 or 11 seconds on them in the soft tire stint. So I think I would have finished third regardless. It's just like the gap to which I finished third, which was much closer than it would have been without the VSC.
All right, Malav, would you like to ask Hushrav anything or?
No questions as such, but yeah, Hushrav, if you can be kind enough to post your full onboard in the YouTube channel
Um,
link, because
so
your race
I
was just so. I think so. You started P19 in both, finished P4, so that's 15 plus 16. So you made 31 overtakes in that race.
yeah,
That is
after
21
being
positions gained in
a
that race. That probably is an IRL record in itself.
I'm going to hope the footage is saved. Nope, it hasn't. I have messed that up. Sorry, everyone.
Right, so we'll ask someone to report you and then get you a penalty. But other than that, mega quick, Hushrav, just insane pace and unfortunate with the 3 second time penalty. I think it definitely had the pace to cause some
Yeah.
amount of nervousness to Nova and Sumer in the dying laps. Great performance.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's it for F2 this weekend. Sorry for the technical delay that we had, and unfortunately, everyone is telling me on the Discord group that it was gonna rain towards the end. So I did set the custom weather for that, but it never really happened. I don't know why. But aside from those small technical issues, thank you to everyone who watched. Congratulations to all our podium sitters yet again, and thank you, Malav, for co-commentating with me again this week. And that's it. Goodbye and good night from IRL. We shall see you next week when we race around. What track is it? When we race around
Austria.
Austria. So it should be a fun
That's
track.
Caesar's favorite track.
Yeah, Caesar's favorite track. So we shall see what happens there. But see you next week, everyone. Goodbye and good night.